Hello everyone, welcome to our summer reading program presentation. Our group members include Ann Ha, Katie Eisenstein, Jen Rasmussen, Jason Hill, and Allison Deffenbach. And we are here to talk to you about summer reading programs. My part is the history part, so let me talk to you about that. In the 1890s, Carolyn Hewins of Hartford, Connecticut started to invite children to the library for weekly programs, and she would perform or have little reading sessions with them. Then in the 1900s, some libraries started vacation reading clubs. American Library Association conducted a survey in 1927 showing that the United States had a lot of libraries that encouraged vacation reading. And as we moved on to a more recent date, in the 1987 Collaborative Summer Library Program was formed by a group of Minnesota libraries. The focus is to have a central theme as well as artwork and incentives so that libraries in the region could purchase them and distribute to participants, as well as to promote the summer reading program. Then in the 1990s, incentives became a really big part of increasing participation. People didn't enjoy going to the library as much, so incentives to have them come in the summer so they're not on vacation was really big. And moving forward to the 2000s, in 2001, our president decided to propose a No Child Left Behind Act, which encouraged a lot of schools to promote education, and at the same time, libraries would promote reading. So in 2004, Pittsburgh Public Schools launched a summer reading program, and this is the first time in school setting that there was summer reading programs. And then moving forward in 2009, academic libraries, which are usually to cater to collegians as well as adults, started to have a summer reading program, mainly because families that were living on campuses needed to have a source of a means for their children to be able to just continue reading in the summer. So University of Southern Mississippi in the Cook Library, they decided to have a summer reading program. And fast forward to today, just a couple of years, Internet has been something that a lot of libraries have nowadays. I don't think there's any libraries that don't have internet access. But in 2011, which is last year, New York Public Library, Spokane Library, as well as Queens Library created a summer reading website. And essentially it's to cater to the people in the community of New York to join the summer reading program online. They have a YouTube video where students could see how they can enter and register, as well as how to get incentives. And then we'll talk a little more about other libraries in California as well as Washington. Now we're going to move on to the next slide, which is values, presented by Katie.
Summer reading programs are a valuable resource for both the libraries and the children in the community. Summer reading programs can be a great way to draw neighboring children into the libraries. According to Haynes' study, more than any other public institution, including the schools, the public library contributed to the intellectual growth of children during the summer. Unlike summer school programs, the library was used by over half the sample and attracted children from diverse backgrounds. Not only are summer reading programs fun, but they are also a free summer activity that any child from any financial background is welcome to join. Also, many public libraries offer incentives to get children to finish their reading logs, such as prizes or books. These incentives can also attract children to the program itself. Once a child feels comfortable using the library, then they might want to use the library facilities throughout the school year. One significant value of summer reading programs is that it keeps children reading and learning during the summer break. Cooper states that the long summer vacation breaks the rhythm of instruction, leads to forgetting, and requires a significant amount of review when the students return to school in the fall. This loss can leave many children behind when starting the new year. Yet summer reading programs can help to get children reading and thinking throughout the summer break. A 2001 Los Angeles County Public Library study showed that summer reading programs participants were 10% more likely to read at least 15 hours per week. That is a vital gain, since reading just 6 books over the course of the summer can be enough to offset any summer reading loss. Reading also helps children become better learners. The study shows that students who read more read better. They also write better, spell better, have larger vocabularies, and have better control of complex grammatical constructions. These are helpful tools to help children in English classes and other classes throughout their future. Summer reading programs are a great way to show reluctant readers that reading can be fun. Many children have negative experiences with reading in a school setting. These issues with literature can deter children from reading in general. It was found that summer reading programs in public libraries usually encourage readers, especially those who are struggling, to use alternative formats such as magazines, recorded books, graphic novels, and material on the internet. By suggesting other forms of reading besides classic literature, librarians can teach children that there is not a wrong way to read. Often in school, children are not allowed to choose what they want to read in English class. Through summer reading programs, children are encouraged to pick their own selections. Self-selection of reading materials is an extremely important factor in motivating struggling readers and is a key component for most summer library programs. If a child has fun reading, it will encourage them that learning can be fun. Summer reading programs provide children with positive experience associated with reading at an early age. Through various summer programs offered by the library, children are able to have more interactions with the librarian, which can allow children to see that the library is inviting and warm. Summer reading groups also provide positive social interaction amongst children. According to LIBR and Roman, peer interactions during library activities and reading discussions have a positive impact on students and leave them with the notion that reading in libraries are valuable. By making friends and seeing other children reading, the child can have fond memories, which will make them want to continue joining summer reading programs in the future. This relationship with the library can develop into a lifelong habit of reading. No matter how successful, no summer reading program is perfect. In the end, librarians always try to figure out how to attract more kids, how to keep them reading all summer, and how to encourage more excitement for reading in general. Summer reading is promoted with colorful posters, storytime plugins, and space in the newsletter. While each family finds what works best in their community, this section is going to cover some of the various ways in which libraries are trying to improve their summer programming. Before a library can decide what needs to be changed, they should evaluate the previous program. Some key things to look at are how many children signed up, how many finished, and how those statistics compare to those from previous years. Another item to evaluate is the programs themselves. Libraries often spend a good portion of their summer budget on speakers and performers. If a program is not well received, then something else may be needed the next year. Finally, an excellent way to evaluate summer reading is to distribute surveys to parents. Participation is the key to a successful summer program. Each year, libraries want to reach more children in the community and encourage them to read throughout the summer. However, many libraries are struggling with limited space. They have begun to take some of their events to locations other than the library. For example, instead of having someone come to the library, they might organize a trip to the zoo where kids will receive a special talk from the zookeeper. Another route is to present smaller events to summer schools and daycares. Not only does this let the library be seen around the community, but children who might have trouble getting to the library will still have an opportunity to participate. One of the most popular ideas today is dividing the program even further than simply children's and adults. By incorporating a summer program for young adults, libraries can host events and distribute prizes that focus on what is popular within the teen scene. The New York Public Library created Teen Central, with many areas that deal with all areas of library media. Programming like this speaks not only to readers, but those interested in other media as well. In smaller areas, libraries are often not a part of the large system. Instead, each town has its own district. Some libraries have limited summer participation because they only allow those with their card to sign up. Not only does this exclude kids who live outside the district, but those who hear about events through friends and do not have a card of their own. Most kids don't always join the summer reading program simply for the prizes. But it seems that once they start, if what kids are getting isn't worth it, many simply don't put forth effort into finishing. By utilizing freebies such as free video rentals, it allows for more prizes more often. By recognizing a child's work on their way to the goal, it gives them an extra push to finish. Some libraries are eliminating many of their smaller prizes and instead awarding progress with entries in a drawing for a large item such as an iPod. A growing issue is that people of all ages are reading fewer physical books. Many of them are turning to e-readers, and some kids as young as 10 have Kindles. Allowing books read in the ebook format will let more people be a part of the fun. Along with this is the fact that many young people go straight to the free internet. Libraries have begun to create summer reading websites with links to educational sites related to the theme, trivia, and more to encourage kids to participate in the summer program. In the end, no matter how many amazing ideas a library has, funds are needed in order to make them a reality. Many libraries are facing the issue of budget cuts, so bigger and better programs are hard to achieve. One way to get extra money is through summer reading grants. Both the ALSC and YALSA have grants specific to summer programming. Another slowly growing trend is reaching out to profit organizations for sponsorships and donations. When looking for a monetary donation, Engelfried and Reynolds suggest go big or go home. Companies are more likely to donate money to a well-planned and promising program than a small amount for the purpose of being able to mail more flyers. Also, companies will want some recognition for their donation, either in print material or with their logo on a prize. So be sure to use the library-friendly businesses in your area. A summer reading program sponsored by the local bar will most likely not go over well with parents. Now I will hand off to Jason and Allison to discuss some examples.
Thanks, Jen. I will be talking about San Francisco Public Library's summer reading program. The main library, along with the 26 branches, begins their summer reading program at the beginning of June and finishes at the end of August. Each year there is a different theme. As you can see from the slide, last year's theme was Power Your Mind, Read. The importance of themes, incentives, and programming has been discussed throughout our presentation. A successful summer reading program combines all three of these factors, and San Francisco Public Library is definitely at the top of its game when it comes to these. Last year's theme was all about energy and the environment. I work at the Bernal Heights branch here in San Francisco and had the pleasure of assisting our children's librarian with setting up the display of materials that fit the theme of the summer reading program. A well-planned, eye-catching display is a great way to grab the attention of parents and children who might not know about summer reading. And it's always a pleasure to get these newbies signed up, especially when we tell them about the prizes. Prizes are the main incentive for kids at my branch who sign up for summer reading. Yes, a lot of them like to read, but they definitely like to read more when there are prizes involved. One of the great things about San Francisco is that it's a city full of things to do for kids. So many of the businesses donate tickets, games, and gift certificates to the summer reading program. This includes the famous Exploratorium, which is the science museum for children. Kids have to read 10 hours in order to choose a prize on a while supplies last basis. The first prizes to usually go are pairs of Giants tickets. And I'm not too into sports, but I do know that the parents really push their kids to read in order to get their hands on those tickets. And other prizes include books, kites, and art sets. And after reading 40 hours, kids get one raffle ticket to enter a drawing for either a Kindle or a family membership to one of the participating museums. And there are only 2 winners for the grand prizes chosen throughout all the branches. Each branch in the city is also responsible for its own programming each year during summer reading. Bernal Heights has 1 or 2 programs a week, including regularly scheduled story times. One of the most attended was a program where kids made art out of recycled materials such as cans, bottle caps, and paper. Programs are essential in tying the theme of summer reading together. San Francisco's summer reading program is mostly positive, as you can probably tell. But I did find one thing that I'm not sure works, and that is the registration process. Most libraries, especially in rural areas, have the children record hours in a reading log or journal, which I believe is efficient and allows them to carry the log with them. And Allison will be showing you an example of one of those logs. Last year, San Francisco Public Library switched over to an online registration and logging system, which was powered by a company called Library Insight, whose link we'll included in our references. And this slide shows what the login screen looks like. The registration and logging process was a bit confusing for children under 7, who often forgot their library cards and PIN numbers, and usually their parents had forgotten them also. And the biggest problem I have with online registration is that I help so many kids that do not have access to computers at home, and they end up feeling left behind or left out. Granted, we do have reading logs handy if they need them, but it just isn't the same when the push is to get everyone online. So I definitely go back and forth with how I feel about this one. So before passing the mic over to Allison, I ask that all of you consider the pros and cons of how your children's libraries handle summer reading registration. Now I will pass the mic over to Allison, who will talk about reading programs in Spokane, Washington.
I am going to discuss a couple examples of summer reading programs. I took a look at the public and county library systems in Spokane, Washington, and will discuss the similarities and differences I found between the two. One similarity I found was the length of the program. Both of them last around 4 to 5 weeks, generally starting in late July and ending late August or early September. Both use a theme to base their programs around, and they go through the company Collaborative Summer Library Program for ideas, artwork, and displays. For the younger children aging 0 to 4, both libraries hold regular story times. I noticed that both libraries use the Knights of Veritas, a group who displays armor and swordplay for the children. Also, both libraries often use musicians as presenters, and their programs generally have some educational background to them. This is an example of the artwork and reading logs they use. One of the main differences I noticed was the incentive the library uses to get children to participate in the reading portion of the summer reading program. The public library gives out a free book after the child completes the reading log. However, the county library uses a game that supplies various options such as check out and read a fiction book. And the goal is to try and complete all of the suggestions given. Although there is no prize in the end, kids still join. This is an example of the incentive game the county uses. Another difference I noticed was the age range for the programs offered. The public library offers programs that are geared towards school-aged children, and teens usually do not attend. It mainly ends up being 5 to 14-year-olds. The county, on the other hand, has different programs that are age-specific. They hold separate programs that are geared towards young children, tweens, teens, and even separate family programs for all ages. The public library only holds one program or presenter per week. If a presenter is not available, they will have a craft program for that week, but the county library may have several programs a week depending on the age of your child. Since they have programs geared towards specific age ranges, they hold a few programs per week for the different aged children, so they might have a program for kindergarten to 5th graders as well as programs for tweens in the same week. Some weeks may even have a program for each age group. In summary, summer reading programs have been around since the late 1890s, and as the years have gone by, libraries have improved their summer reading programs to include incentives and even online programming that helps to increase the participation rates. There are values to be gained from summer reading programs. They help bring new patrons into the library, help to fill in the gap during the summer when children may not be spending as much time reading, as they do during the school year, they help to reach out to reluctant readers, and they encourage recreational reading throughout your life. When developing summer reading programs, keep in mind the attendance rate compared to the previous years. To gain maximum participation rates, create programs off-site as well as on-site, and make the programs age-appropriate. Have some sort of incentive or prize as well. Create a summer reading webpage and encourage the use of non-physical books. When funding, look into grants and corporate sponsors or donors for the prizes and programming. The San Francisco Public Library and Spokane and County Libraries offer a few great examples for summer reading programs. They each have their themes, incentives to participate, and wonderful programs to offer children and parents alike. And that is our presentation.